Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar on why your multi-channel strategy is failing and how shared inbox fix it. My name is Utkarsh, working as product marketing executive at CallHippo, and today this masterclass will help you to understand the customer changing horizon with what strategy has to be executed for more effective, beneficial, and more accountable outputs. So, by the time the others are joining, I am launching an okay. So these are the results. 83% I'm exploring for the AI sales, and 50% says I want to shorten my sales cycle. 50% believe I struggle with lead follow-ups, and 17% curious to learn something new. That's impressive, I must say. All right, so starting with the webinar, I believe people have came and the attendees are eager, excited to go through this masterclass and understanding what's the hidden agenda and the tool which will help them to outperform. So in this webinar, we have Shelly Aditya, who is working as AVP Call Hippo and not just working as the important person, but actually turning the conversations into the conversion. And with the sharp forecasting strategic vision, he helped the brand consistently exceeding the growth targets. So, Shelly, welcome to today's webinar, and we are glad to have your presence.
Thanks, Utkarsh. Hey, everyone. Great to see all of you here today. I know your calendars are packed, so thanks for making time for this session. And we're going to be talking more about why your multi-channel strategy, the one you had probably invested a lot, is quietly failing in today's webinar. And that's what we're going to do for the next 45 minutes or so.
So, Shelly, before you start, I have an incident to share with the attendees.
Sure, would love to know that.
Okay, so moving to the first slide, in this image, what you see, a business woman stressed, watching her phone and thinking a lot. But what could be the possibilities? She run a business, she's having lots of messages, just bombarded her devices through email, WhatsApp, social media, LinkedIn. But the question is why she's stressed? Well, the scenario is her product is good, she's having the outreach, she's having people, but where she's failing? She is failing at replying the customers, the people who are trying to ask more about the product or service. So, in this webinar, we will come across how you will understand the solution to this business women problem she is facing, that making sure you don't compromise with your process of sales, revenue, and overall performance. So, before Shari takes back, I want to ask you an interesting question that, okay, so now it's visible. So it will end in the next 15 seconds. The question is, how many business actually manage did you handle yesterday? Under 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 200, or above 200? Okay, in next 5 seconds, we will be closing the poll. Hurry up, please. Okay, so now closing the poll. So 80%, 86% says under 50 and 14% says above 200, which is great number. So over to you, Shelly.
I can see that a lot of people are already using WhatsApp, and I believe most of the attendees out here today would be doing the multi-channel strategy, obviously already by now. But the thing is, most of the businesses, even mature businesses, they're not aware about what's the right multi-channel strategy and what might be the reason behind their existing heavily invested multi-channel strategy failing. People have got WhatsApp, people have got email, people have got chat, calls, maybe even social DMs. And on paper, everything sounds amazing, right? The customers can reach you anywhere on all these channels. But here's the question. If a customer writes to you on WhatsApp at 10 a.m. in the morning and then follows up over email at 11, does your team instantly know it's the same person following up on the email? Or are they treating it like two different conversations? Most teams, like I told, even in well-settled businesses, they don't have that visibility. And that's exactly where the crack starts forming. And I'm not just talking about the tech startups or small shops. I've seen this with large insurance firms, hospitals, travel companies. Everyone is trying to do multi channel, but very few are the ones who are doing unified communication. Let's make this interactive. I'll do a quick pulse check. How many of you here manage at least three communication channels in your business? Type a three in the chat if you do. I'll just take a pause for 10 seconds just to see what the attendees are currently doing. Wow, I can see the numbers rolling in already. And that's exactly what I expected. Now keep those hands raised or those numbers coming in if you think your team actually has one place to view and respond to all these messages at this point of time. The drop off is instant. And that's exactly the gap we are here to talk about it today. The truth is, multi channel is not broken because customers have changed, they are the same. It's broken because businesses never connected the dots between these channels. We have added a lot of tools, added processes, added dashboards, but we have not added clarity. And when there is no clarity, three things happen primarily. Number one, the team starts working in silos. Number two, response time slows down. And the third, customers, they get frustrated and they move on. I hope for most of you this would be familiar because whether you are running a hospital reception, whether you are based in a real estate firm, whether you are running an e-commerce brand, this pattern is exactly the same everywhere. Today, I want to show you how unifying all those conversations, bringing them into one shared inbox, does not just fix that chaos, it completely transforms how your team works and how your customers feel. And by the end of the session, I hope most of you would walk away with amazing insights around why some of the fastest growing businesses are actually scaling down their tool stack, not adding any more. And the reason is they're simplifying. They're using one command center for all customer conversation. That's the future, which is right there in front of us. And that is what we're going to be unpacking one by one. Coming back to this, the $2.3 million WhatsApp mistake. When I start about it, there's a story that still blows my mind every time I think about it. So, what happened a few months ago? We were talking to a mid-sized consumer electronics brand. I won't name them, but let's just say they are one of those fast-growing D2C companies that run massive WhatsApp campaign for product launches. Now, this team was doing everything right. They had ads running, they had chatbots, they had inbound leads coming in all day long. But for some reason, their revenue from WhatsApp leads started declining. Even though the number of messages, inquiries, they were still increasing. So they called us to take session, which were waiting, which were ignored, which were lost in that endless scroll of unread threads. So we asked their head of sales, how is this even possible? And his answer was something I think most of you can relate to. He said, we have four different people handling WhatsApp. One person dedicatedly responsible to handle sales queries, one person to handle delivery issues, and the third person to handle support complaint. But these all people are using WhatsApp on their own cell phone. And that's when it hit me. Their WhatsApp strategy was not failing because the team did not care. They did care and they were doing their job perfectly well. It was failing because the channels were not connected. The channels were not talking to each other. Their CRM had emails, their ticketing tool had chats, their WhatsApp was on someone's phone, and none of these person could see the whole picture. And when we calculated the potential revenue those 100 messages could have brought in, it came to $2.3 million. Can you believe it? That's $2.3 million worth of customers who wanted to buy but never got a reply in time. Not because the team did not have the intent, they do have the intent, but because the communication was disjointed, the communication was scattered. How many of you here are managing WhatsApp or Instagram DMs through someone's personal account or phone right now? Be honest. Type a quick me in the chat and let's take a pause for 10 seconds to see. And I think I would agree that I was also under the same slab 2 3 quarters back. Everyone have been using this. That's most of us. And it's not anyone's fault. It's how most businesses they start. But as the volume grows, that system collapses. Think about it. In an age where customers expect instant communication, your tools are still working in isolation. Every new channel adds another layer of chaos. When WhatsApp is not talking to your email, email is not syncing with your chat tool, and your call logs live in a completely different universe. So even if your teams are working hard, they're basically rowing in different directions. Now imagine the same situation, 12,100 messages, but instead of four phones and seven tools, all flows into one shared inbox. So the moment lead comes in, it's instantly visible to sales. As soon as the customer complaint comes in, it's automatically routed to support team. Everyone, irrespective of the different team, is able to see the message, the status, the history. There's no silos, there's no duplication, there's no guesswork, there's no time lost in juggling between multiple tools. And suddenly the customer doesn't have to wait for hours or days to get a reply. They get a reply in seconds. And here is the crazy part. When we implemented this kind of unified setup for another retail brand, their average response time, which was earlier 2 hours 40 minutes, that reduced to under 3 minutes. What did we change? We didn't change anything. We just unified the communication for them. They didn't have to hire any new people. They didn't have to spend any extra penny. It was just possible because of alignment. And that's what I want you to remember about this $2.3 million mistake. The cost of disconnection is huge. It isn't just inefficiency, it's a lost opportunity. Every unread message is a customer waiting for you, and every disconnected tool adds friction between you and them. And the real villain here is not your team, is not the WhatsApp. It's just the time gap that exists between your customers when they reach out to you and when they get a response. Because in today's time, time is money, literally. And that brings me to what I like to call the 4.7 hour death spiral. This is where we see exactly how long that gap really cost you. Let's move on to the next slide. This is where things really get interesting. So we have already talked about the problem of disconnected channels. Now, this, the 4.7-hour death spiral, is not some fancy term from a report. It's the exact average response time businesses take to reply to a customer on WhatsApp. Let's just sit with that number for a second. Imagine you walk into a store, you ask a question to a salesperson, and they say, "Sure, just give me 5 hours, I'll get back to you." Would you still be standing when they come back? Probably not. And yet, that's what's happening every single day across industries, be it from healthcare to travel to retail or SaaS. The customer is reaching out, and when they reach out, they're excited, they're curious, they're ready to engage, and we take hours to reply because the message lands in one tool, gets forwarded to another person who's switching tabs only, trying to find context of that conversation. And by the time the reply goes out, the customer is already talking to your competitor. So let's walk through this death spiral moment by moment. Minute zero is when the customer has actually sent in the WhatsApp message. Excitement of the buyer is super high. They are actively exploring a solution and they are emotionally invested in that. 1 hour later, when they didn't get any response and they haven't heard from your team, they start browsing competitors. 2 hours later, they found another solution, another option, and maybe even got a reply from them. 4 hours later, your team, they finally respond, but it's too late. The momentum is gone. The conversation is cold. And the worst part is the customer who reached out to you first is now loyal to someone else. This is reality across sectors. In healthcare, a patient asking about an appointment gets frustrated and books somewhere else. In real estate, a buyer loses patience and closes with another broker. Similarly, in terms of the travel industry, the excited tourist finds another package on Instagram from a person who responded faster. So it's not the fact that people don't want to wait, it's the fact that people don't have to wait anymore. And I believe most of you would agree to this. How many of us have already texted a business and have faced a similar problem? And when they took too long to respond back, we got the product from some other competitor. And that happens with all of us. That's something we all have seen around us. Same thing your customers are doing to you right now. Now let's look at from the business lens. So our data that shows that for every hour of delay, a company loses roughly $2,000 in terms of the potential revenue. Multiply that by days, weeks, months, and you start realizing this is not a communication issue. It's a revenue issue. You could have the best ad strategy, you can have the best website, you can have the best product, but if your communication is not unified, if the communication is not binded inside the one channel, you're literally bleeding revenue while your competitor is doing cash in. Now, here's the good news. The good news is this villain, this 4.7 hour of death spiral, is not invincible. Businesses have fixed it, and the businesses who have fixed it, they didn't do it by hiring more people or working long hours. They did it by bringing every channel into one place, by creating those single source of truth. And I believe that is what it matters the most. One share inbox, all channels, you give total control of what's happening with the different channels. Because when you WhatsApp, when your email, when your chat, when your calling solution, when all these data live together, your response time that doesn't just improve, it gets transformed. And this transformation contributes to the customer experience with the fact that the customer feel more delighted. I always say a unified inbox is like a GPS for your team. You may still have bumps on the road, but at least you know where you are going. Without that, you would basically be shouting directions in seven different cars. So the real enemy here is not just volume or competition, it's disconnection. And the solution is not just more tools, it's smarter alignment. Because here is where the story turns. What if I told you that you could respond to every customer on every channel from a single screen without losing any of the context and without missing a beat? And that's what I call the transformation moment. And that's exactly what we are going to explore next. Let's move on to the next slide. Let's take a look at how this transformation happens. One inbox, every channel, and the aim is to bring everything into one single unified inbox. One place where your team can finally see the full picture. And I want you to imagine something like this, which is present on the screen for a moment. Suppose you walk into your office on a Monday morning. Instead of 10 tabs that you have to open right now, one for WhatsApp, one for email, one for chat, one for calls, you just open one dashboard and instantly you see every customer conversation happening across your business right there. WhatsApp businesses, the new leads coming in, you see it right there. Any email from existing customer, you see it right there. Missed calls that came last night when the team was out of the office, that's also visible in the same dashboard, all showing up in real time, beautifully organized, tagged, and assigned to the right SDR or the support guy. And you don't need to ask when you start your day, who's replying on this? Or neither you have to forward that on Slack and check what's happening on one of these channels with respect to one of those leads. Everyone on your team can see who said what and on which channel and when did they say that. It's such a simple thing, but this thing changes everything. It solves a lot of your pain. I want you to picture this as your own business setup. Think of your team. The sales guy is handling WhatsApp. The support reps are handling the emails. The social media intern is replying to the DMs, and maybe your operational manager taking those customer calls. What if they could all see each other's conversation in real time without switching platforms? What if your customers they didn't have to repeat themselves three times on three different channels? A lot of and no one as a customer wants to repeat themselves explaining the same thing again and again, and that's exactly what true unified communication looks like. It's not a software, it's a clarity. It's the difference between chaos and control. It's a team finally acting like one team, not seven small islands. I'll give a very real example of how this transformation looks across industry. A logistic company we worked with used to lose track of urgent delivery updates because drivers would text one number, customers would email another number, and support was stuck in the middle. The moment they switched to a shared inbox, their average ticket resolution time that dropped by just 63%, and that's huge. Just because everyone was finally working from the same source of truth. Or take a healthcare chain we've worked with. So we work with a lot of multiple clinics, hundred of daily inquiries flowing into those businesses. They unified WhatsApp calls and web chats into one inbox. The front desk was able to see if a patient had already chatted or called earlier and was able to uh, create the conversation more personalized and at a more personal level. And the patient retention as a result, that number went up by 29%. And the same thing happened with an e commerce brand. Their agents no longer guessed if a WhatsApp query came from a paid campaign or was it a repeat customer. The shared inbox told them instantly, and they were able to understand and be aware of that data. So the big picture here is it's not just operational efficiency, it's the experience both for your team and your customers. How many of you out here today have had customers say, I already spoke to someone about this from your team. Why I have to repeat the same issue again and again? And I believe that would have happened with most of you. And those level of frustration that comes from disconnected tools. The shared inbox erases the moment completely because no matter who replies, the full conversation history is right there. And I'll be honest, when team first experiences this, it's almost emotional. For years, the team has been firefighting, responding, juggling, and suddenly they are orchestrating. They can see, they are able to plan, they are able to deliver in sync. It's like the difference between an orchestra turning up and the moment the music starts. Everyone's still playing their part, but now it's in harmony. And this harmony, this transformation is not just a concept, it's something you can see, it's something you can feel. So, on the next slide, we're going to look at what this unified command center actually looks like in action. We have a short live video which we'll be playing first before taking you more into the depth of the capabilities of this unified platform. Utkarsh, can we play the video? So you can see in the same dashboard, the single unified platform, everything is binded together. We have already talked about why we should be unifying things, what are the costs associated with a non-unified and disjointed platform. And when you see here, inside the same dashboard, you've got all the WhatsApp communication, all your email inboxes, all your call data, and you can add all your channels where the team is doing communication right there from the one screen. So you can see your WhatsApp messages, emails, your telephonic calls, all flowing here, and that too in a real time basis. No need to switch tabs, no need of juggling between the phones, and no lost messages. And I think that's a magical thing to happen. And the magic lies in simplicity. Your team doesn't get burned out. They just have to come into one single place. And from that moment, everything they need is right in front of them. Here, a new WhatsApp lead just arrived. The system automatically detects the source, assigns it to the right rep. So there is no manual involvement. In our case, suppose there's a rep from the sales team, let's say Priya. So as soon as the lead comes in, the routing mechanism, the flow builder automatically assigns that lead to Priya. The message pops up instantly. She replies, and that reply goes out directly through WhatsApp. She doesn't have to physically go to a different tab and use WhatsApp from there. Now imagine this. 5 years ago, she had probably been switching between these three tools, copy pasting the customer details from one, trying to match CRM data with chat history. In the modern time, in today's world, she is able to respond in seconds, that too with full, complete conversational history and full context. This is what is the power of unification. Suppose, let's say, Priya is not sure whom to handle a specific query and she needs help from someone from the team, or maybe it's about a billing and she just have to forward those screenshots or create a ticket manually. Now that is not required in modern time. All she can do is simply tag her teammate. For example, let's say she has to tag Rohan. She can just tag at the rate Rohan. Can you check this? And this entire team can see those internal notes right from there. So no more Slack messages. No more, did you reply to this customer? Everything is happening inside the same conversation thread. And like you can see, now look at this. Not only WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, all your social media communication, all those multiple channels, Telegram, can be binded inside the unified dashboard. System is able to completely merge all these details. So even if the customer switches channels, say from WhatsApp to, let's say, email, or even calls the business Your team is able to see continuous history of the entire analytics of the buyer. You don't lose context, and the customer don't have to repeat themselves, which is a problem for most of the businesses. And I believe most of you would agree to this. We have all been there. But see, how the single screen kills the frustration completely. Now, over here, you're able to see all the live metrics directly for all these channels. It's not only limited to WhatsApp, it's not only limited to your call analytics, it's not only limited to any other single channel, but you see a tool of all the channels where the communication is happening inside those reports. You can instantly see if calls are piling up or if your WhatsApp queue is getting long, how many emails are there still pending in the unread and not yet responded back. And since everything is happening in one shared inbox, you can redistribute conversations in real time. The best part is this does not just make your customer happier, it gives your team a sense of control. Now they would not be firefighting across 5 tabs. The team members are flowing. It turns communication chaos into calm, measurable action. So when you look at this dashboard, think of it as your business nervous system. Every channel feeding into one brain, every response going out with precision. And once the system is in place, responses time, they don't just drop. Your entire rhythm of doing the business that shifts and that changes. Because now, all of a sudden, the team has visibility, accountability, and most importantly, the speed which was missing earlier. And that's where the gap was bigger in terms of the response time the users were taking to get back to the prospects and the time they were expecting the answers to their questions. This brings clarity, this brings connection, this brings consistency to every single customer interaction. Now, of course, technology alone does not change industry. Timing does. And right now, something very interesting is happening in the market. Businesses across sectors, be it from finance to automotive, they all are making a decisive shift to WhatsApp Business API and shared inboxes. Let's talk about why this urgency exists and what happens if you wait too long to make that move. So let's move on to the next slide. The urgency, WABA corporate sector adoption, why businesses are shifting and why things are changing. Utkarsh, can we move on to the next slide? So we have seen the transformation in action, but here's the thing. None of this is theoretical anymore. The market is already moving and it's moving fast. Over the last 18 months, we have seen a massive wave of businesses, especially mid-size and enterprise, adopting WhatsApp Business API and adopting shared inbox to close deals and do more engagement. And I'm not just talking about the D2C or e-commerce brand. I'm talking about almost all kind of brands, be it in based in the banking space, be it healthcare, automotive, logistics, industries that traditionally they used to take a lot of years to make any change. They are also adopting to this shift. They're chatting, they're texting, they have realized one thing. Customers are not waiting on websites or call queues anymore. Customers are expecting instant responses wherever they are, irrespective of that fact. Now, if you pair this with 1 in 4 businesses actually has a system to manage those messages properly, that is exactly where the gap is. That's where leaders are being created right now. Every market goes through a tipping point. For customer communication, this is it. We have a poll here, and Utkarsh, can we look at the poll? I believe the attendees' inputs on that poll would also give us an understanding of the kind of people we have in today's webinar. So, what's one part of your sales process you're now considering automating after today's session? I would love to understand what people are looking to automate. I believe for me, the major challenge was around fragmented communication itself, and that has been solved after the implementation of unified dashboard.
And also real time you can share your industry which belongs to you or not mentioned in above three options. Okay, so we are closing the poll in next 3 seconds. Three, two, and one.
Let's take a look at what people have voted for. So, can I have I'm not able to view the answer. Uh, can you read out the answer? Just to give you get an understanding of what people are looking to automate.
All right, I'm speaking. So, one person has said that the session will help them in the support queries. And the
Amazing.
second, yes, supporting the queries. And another person said it will help over understanding the WhatsApp utility.
So I think people are inclined towards automating in terms of supporting better to the existing customers. And then, of course, if you ask me, in current modern world of sales, WhatsApp is emerging as the strongest communication channel to get insights and control of the business. People right now, they don't prefer talking on call. Rather, they prefer speaking on WhatsApp. Even emails, people have really slowed down their approaches on talking on those emails. So what I was saying, that's exactly where the leaders are being created right now. So every market goes through a tipping point, like I mentioned already. 5 years ago, what people were, when they were going omni-channel, they just meant adding more tools to it. Today, when someone says we're going omni-channel or we're doing omni-channel, it means unifying them into one dashboard, one platform. I was speaking with a customer head at a large hospital chain last quarter itself, and he said, Shelly, our call volume are down by 40%, but our WhatsApp traffic has tripled, and we didn't even promote it that way. That's when he realized the shift was customer led. Patients were choosing the faster, more personal path, and the hospitals, they had to adapt to it. Within 3 months, these people, they rolled out WhatsApp Business API, plugged it into their shared inbox. And if you talk about the results, the response time dropped from hours to minutes. Their NPS score went up by 42 points. And most of the people have noticed now customers, they really want to talk on multiple channels, not the traditional sales channel that we used to have. It's a pattern, it's a new default behavior of your audience. And here is the reality: you can't control where your customers start the conversation. What you can control is how fast your team is able to respond back to them, how consistent that experience can be managed across multiple channels. And that is the only reason why companies adopting WhatsApp business early, especially those using shared inboxes, are seeing measurable competitive advantages. For those companies, their time to first response is 90% faster. Their customers' lifetime value is 3.4 times higher than the other companies. And these companies, they don't just respond quicker, they build trust quicker. And the thing about adoption curve is early mover, they don't just win customers. They reset customer expectation for others who are joining the same wave. The moment one competitor starts replying under 30 seconds, every player in the space suddenly feels outdated. It's like when email first became mainstream. Businesses that switched early were called tech forward. Now, at this point of time, it's the minimum. The same shift is happening with WhatsApp Business API and unified communication right now. So the question is not will you adopt it? The question is when and at what cost of waiting? Because waiting means training your customers to expect faster replies from someone else. And this brings us to the final part of today's session, the decision point, the moment where we look at the two possibilities and the two paths ahead. Path A, the familiar chaos of juggling seven disconnected platforms. Path B, one shared inbox, every channel unified, every conversation under control. Let's talk about what happens when you take each path and why the right one can completely redefine how your business communicates, grows, and wins. Let's move to the final slide. Amazing. So these are the two paths, and you got one choice to make. And now it all comes down to one simple decision. Which path are you going to take from here? Let's call it what it is. You have two paths in front of you. Path A, the status quo, is basically where you keep on juggling between seven different platforms. You lose 77% of your WhatsApp lead, and not because your product is not good, but because your systems are not connected. Your WhatsApp, email, chat, call data all live in different silos. And you keep seeing unread messages pile up, customers waiting, leads slipping away. You'll continue hearing your team say things like, who replied to that customer? Oh, wait, did we already email them? And every time that happens, your competitor, the one who unified communication, is quietly taking your deal away, that trust away, that opportunity away from you. And here is the real danger of path A. It feels comfortable. You don't notice the damage day by day, but 6 months later, a year later, when you look back and you realize your customers changed faster than your systems did, then you understand the real value of the impact, the hit that you have got taking the path A. And then there is path B, which is the new way forward, the WhatsApp API mastery. One shared inbox, every channel unified, no silos, no confusion, no missed opportunities. Your team is working directly from one command center. They are seeing, replying, collaborating, and delighting customers faster than ever before. Your average response time is going down from multiple hours to seconds. Your team's energy is shifting from the earlier reactive approach to the current proactive approach. Your customers, they start feeling the difference, they start seeing the difference, they start talking about it. I'll tell you a relatable example here. A travel agency that unified all their channels, they saw a 22% rise in their rebookings just because they started reverting within a minute. There was a real estate brokerage firm that moved to a shared inbox, and they started closing deals 30% faster simply because they never faced any follow-ups because of the unified platform. And a SaaS support team, they adopted unified communication, saw a 47% drop in escalations. Why? Because customers finally they felt heard. I want you all to take a second and really imagine what that feels like for your business. Like we have already talked about it in the earlier slides. Picture a Monday morning where your entire team is in sync. No missed messages, no confusion, no chaos. Just a clean, connected flow of conversations that convert. And that's not just efficiency, that's a peace of mind. And in today's noise, competitive world, the peace of mind is priceless. So ask yourself which path sets your business up for growth, trust, leadership over the next 18 months. The path that keeps you guessing or the path that gives you control. Because at the end of the day, it is your move. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I hope this session helped you see something which is broken and why it is broken for most of the businesses who are trying to do multi-channel communication. but how powerfully simple the solution can be when everything finally works together. Doesn't take a lot of things. It just take binding everything with a unified platform all into one roof. I'm around for the Q&A round, and I would love to take questions and answer them from most of the people. And remember, whether you are handling less than 50 messages a day, uh, or probably 5,000, the faster you unify is the faster you grow. Thanks again, everyone. Let's open it up for your questions, Utkarsh.
So the floor is open for the question. You can write your question below, and the speaker will answer it in the best way forward. We are waiting for your questions. Hurry up. You can ask the question in whatever sense you want the question, query, or the problem, something that you faced on a personal level.
How many people here on the webinar today are already using CallHippo or any of the capabilities? Might be the calling part of it or using it for WhatsApp or are already a customer of it. You can write on the chat itself. So Likit is already using it. So Likit, you are using it for the telephony part or you're using the unified platform as well? Nive is also using. Amazing. So all those existing customer of ours, I just want to tell you that we do have the WhatsApp capabilities of WABA uh, added with our Call Hippo's plan itself. And I would love to talk more about it. So there's no additional cost to it when you go in for that. And I'm just writing my email on the chat. And I would love to talk more about it with anyone who would be interested to explore how you guys can really unify your own business communication into one platform. I've added my email on the chat. Yeah. And I think Nivi also mentioned that they were looking for WhatsApp integration. So definitely you just, I'll get someone reach out to you and we can help you set up WhatsApp integration as well. And would definitely understand and make you understand the process as well.